Hey guys, welcome back to Clash with Skip. Today we are going to be talking about one of my favorite attacks, Queen Walk Quadquake Dragons. And when this attack works, it feels amazing, right? You will have a ton of dragons and loons left over, and when it doesn't work, this is also one of the attacks that you can recover from fairly easily. It's really flexible, and so even if a bunch of things go wrong, most clashers can actually pull this off. So the hardest part of this attack is going to be the queen walk. So obviously, this is going to assume you have a fairly high level queen, but in these videos, I'm going to show you my royal champion's really weak. My warden's at level 40, so he's nowhere near max. My king is nowhere near max. And one of the things I love about this attack is it doesn't assume you have the strongest heroes, right? So you're going to need dragons, healers, loons, and a baby dragon. And that's about it. And the goal here is we're going to use the queen to carve out a huge chunk of the base using Quadquake, so she can just step into any part of the base we need her to. Then we're going to use the king somewhere else on the base to help carve out a funnel for our dragons. And then we're just going to spam loons, dragons, the stone slammer, and the warden. And, this is pretty easy once you can do that. This is a really annoying base, right? This is an anti-2-star base, and the goal is no matter where you drop your troops, they're going to split around the core. So the way we're going to do this is we are going to Quadquake right into the core down at 6 o'clock, right by that air defense. And we're going to send the queen in to the left, the king to the right, over by that elixir storage, and we're just going to have her walk straight into the core, take out the town hall, take out the eagle. Okay, that's going to create a path for our dragons. So let's see this in action. So first, Coco Loon and a baby dragon. We want to make sure the queen swings to the left, drop our healers. We're going to use the king on the right side to come in with our baby dragon. And we're going to put a baby dragon to the left of the queen because we want her to stop walking and turn back into the core. So Quadquake goes down, and right now you might be thinking, okay, the queen is going to swing to the right. But because we put our king in there and he's able to take out enough buildings, she turns back left. And because we put our baby dragon down, now that Expo is the closest thing to her. So we're just going to rage her up and use a poison on the CC. And once the sweeper is down, we can send in our dragons. Now, I probably got a little impatient here and could have waited until she took out the town hall and the eagle, but this is still going to be overkill, right? So all of the dragons, all of the loons, and the slammer come in with the air warden. And we're going to pop his ability just to protect all of this from the last shots of the eagle. I drop a freeze on the queen. That was probably unnecessary, but, it's good form. And you can see I also made a mistake here, right? I dropped the freeze on that single target inferno too late, and so I had to pop my queen ability. But, look at this base. The queen alone took out, a quarter of it. The dragons are, none of them are gone. This is completely OP. My champion is level 5, so I dropped her in at 12 just to take out an air defense. That was really her only goal. And this is just, 100% overkill. Look how many dragons are left. The queen is up with full health. There is absolutely no threat to this army. So, we're going to finish this attack easily, right? There's nothing to stop the queen or the dragons anymore. And this is just going to be, once again, absolute overkill. Okay, let's look at another attack. So this is a popular war base I've seen. And, ideally for dragons, we want to create pathing. So it looks like we could probably send the king down by 6 o'clock and clear off, the tower and the trash. And we're going to quadquake into the Inferno Tower at 3 o'clock. Okay, so we're going to drop our queen, drop a Coco Loon, and our healers. We're going to drop a baby dragon up on that gold collector just to make sure the queen doesn't keep walking around the base. And then we're just going to quadquake into the core. And because we use that quadquake, all of those defenses are now a lot weaker. They're only going to take a couple shots to take out, and that's going to minimize damage on our queen. So we're going to keep her raged up, and we're just going to take out all of the defense. And the king, he's a little off screen here, but you can see him on the bottom just clearing away the archer tower and the trash. And, we dropped a freeze, we dropped a poison, and we took out the CC. So we have our funnel. We've carved out a nice shape for our dragons to go. And we're going to drop all the loons and all the dragons. We're going to drop the slammer, and we're going to drop the warden. And we're just going to, they're just going to go straight through the base. Now, I dropped my royal champion right to the north of my queen. She was taking quite a lot of damage, so I used my royal champion to just try and take a little bit of damage off her. And rage through the town hall. We're going to use the warden to protect against that bomb, and we're going to freeze up an Inferno Tower and an air defense. And at this point, there's not much left, right? The queen is taking out the eagle right now. There's one air defense left, and all the Infernos and everything else has gone down. And my queen still has her ability. So I'm going to pop that just to take out this air defense. But honestly, even if I didn't, there's just that mass of balloons that would have come in and taken out the air defense. And we still have, 5 dragons up. The queen is up, fully healed. The warden is up. We have a huge pack of balloons. Once again, this is just, it's overkill, right? This is not max warden, not max king. This is a very weak royal champion. This is a great strategy for those of you who do not have max heroes yet, right? And are trying to catch up, because it can work in war, and it can also work when you are farming. Okay, let's hit another base. Okay, this is one of those annoying split bases, and this gives people a lot of trouble. And, this attack is perfect, right? Because we can carve out a nice shape in our base, and we can send the dragons in. So I'm going to put the queen around 9 o'clock and take out that whole compartment with the air D and have her walk into the eagle. Then I'm going to have the dragons come in up from 10 to 12 o'clock and just sweep through the town hall. And I'll drop my royal champion over at 3 o'clock with the king. So let's see how this works. Okay, so we drop the quadquake right down at about 4 or 5 o'clock. 8 or 9 o'clock. And this is a really easy funnel. So when you're designing a base, this is what you do not want to happen, right? I don't actually need very many troops to make sure my queen steps in to this base. And then there are all of these defenses I can just take out very easily. I need one baby dragon to help funnel, and she's just going to step right into the base. And because there's only one expo and an archer tower, she can take out all of this without too much worry. Most people would worry about that single Inferno, right? But she's going to keep walking up first because we sent her right in with the quadquake. We don't have to worry about her moving away. And ideally, we want her to trigger the CC, right? We're going to rage it up, we're going to freeze, and we're going to poison. And we're going to be able to take out the king and the CC. Now, I don't know why anyone would put a P.E.K.K.A. and a ice golem in the CC. I guess P.E.K.K.A.s can be dangerous to queen walks, but freeze and all of the value is gone. So she's going to walk down, and we're going to freeze the single target Inferno and the Eagle, and then we're going to pop her ability. It was probably not great timing on my part. So we have our funnel. And now we're going to drop the king right at the north, and he's just going to walk along the edge and clear all that trash and make sure that our dragons stay into the base and go straight for the town hall. Then we're just going to drop all our loons and then our dragons. And I like to drop the loons first because they soak up all those black mines. We've got our slammer, we've got our warden, and you know, there's no rush. Dragons have a ton of hit points after the new upgrade, so like you don't have to rage them the entire time. Once they get on the town hall, we're going to use the warden ability to protect our dragons from that bomb. And I mean, look at this. Like, I dropped my king and my very weak champion up around 2 o'clock, and they took out an air defense. But like, my queen is still alive, and just look how many dragons are still alive, right? Like, it's just decimating this base. Like, this wasn't like overpowered heroes or anything. Like, this was just it. You create a funnel with your queen walk, you send in a bunch of dragons and loons, and they will dominate bases like this. And the Quadquake means that you can go into some of the most damaging parts of a base and keep your queen alive because you've already taken out so many hit points from these high damage defenses. So like, this is just, it's an OP attack, especially right now where air defenses are not upgraded, ground attacks are the meta, so we have ground expos, and people haven't upgraded their black mines yet. Okay, this is another annoying base, and you see variations of this base everywhere. I mean, I guess maybe the top level players don't, but for most regular players, like, this is one of those annoying bases that trip up a lot of people, and this is one of the great things about this attack, because I'm going to show you 2 of this same village with the exact same attack and show you that even though, you know, the bases are a little bit different, this is easy. We're going to queen walk right over at 2, 3 o'clock straight into the town hall. And because we use a queen walk, we're going to be able to, you know, basically carve out a really nice funnel for our dragons, and then we're going to just send them straight in over by those elixir storages at 1 o'clock. So we open up the entire base, right? And we have our baby dragon making sure that our queen doesn't walk south, and she's just going to go in. And I mean, it's a straight shot, right? Up north, I dropped my king and I dropped my royal champion, and that's just to try and pull the CC and get down that air defense. I used my ability on the single target Inferno, and then I just, you know, swamp everything. And you'll notice, like, the air defense didn't even go down yet because my royal champ really isn't strong enough to do that. So, like, the king actually didn't give me very much value. But because the queen took out the town hall, I have my warden ability that I can use to defend against the eagle. And my dragons are just going to keep swinging through the base, right? Because I did a great job with the funnel and I took off a lot of damage from my queen, she's still up and running. She's got healers on her, and I mean, there's not really any threats left, right? Like, look at how many dragons are left. I'm not even, like, I don't even think I lost any dragons. Maybe I lost like 1, but like, this is just like overkill. You know, like, usually we see these 3-star attacks and you're going to have like 1 or 2 troops left and it's going to be close, especially when you have weak heroes. But like, you know, if you get this attack down, you're just going to crush any base you see. You're going to crush especially these ring bases that trip up everyone who is not a professional clasher. Okay, this next attack, I want to show you that, you know, things go wrong with my attacks all the time. And one of the things I really like about this attack is that there's a lot of room for sort of adapting on the fly, right? Like, at the beginning of an attack, I don't know what I'm going to do with my royal champion because I assume something might go wrong. So this is, you know, another ring base. And ideally, I would like to quadquake right into the heart of this, and that's going to go wrong really quickly. But because this attack is so flexible, we're going to be able to recover and still pull out the 3-star. So my goal here is I'd like the queen to swing in, take out that air defense, and walk a little bit. And then I can decide where I want to break her in. I drop a baby dragon, but of course I did not drop a Coco Loon, so the baby dragon goes down. So that's the first mistake. Then the queen comes back around, and it's like, okay, things are back on track. The plan was a little shaky in the beginning, but we're going to be okay now. And the queen's able to take out that air D. And okay, let's Quadquake into the base, and she's going to swing to the left, and everything's back on track. Whoops. She swings back to the right, right? So I thought she was going to keep going left, and I'd be able to push her back into the base. So what do? Well, we have our king and we have our royal champion, right? And so we're just going to use both of them to create the funnel, because we don't actually need them anywhere else. Like, their job is to help finish the funnel. So it really doesn't matter which way your queen goes. You just got to make sure to keep her alive, right? And she's still got the healers on her. And because the king and the royal champion cleared a nice funnel for us, we can send in all our dragons, all our loons, the slammer and the warden straight into the town hall. And we're just going to rage all of that up and just destroy the town hall. Now, I had to pop my queen ability because she was under a lot of damage, but she's just continuing around. And on these ring bases, if you can get a little bit of damage off of your queen, she'll just keep going. Here we have a ton of dragons left alive. The queen is still up and running, and I'm freezing the air D there. And there's not much left, right? There's this one air defense is left, but I've got a bunch of dragons up. I've got the queen up with basically full health and healers on her. And this one's going to end up being a lot closer than the other attacks. And that's in part because, I messed up the strategy. Like, the queen walk went sideways very quickly. But even then, you're able to finish off the funnel using your other troops. So it's incredibly versatile. Okay, so now I'm going to go and show you guys a war attack, Clan War League attack that I did. This was last month, right? And I just want to cover some of the big things, right? So we've seen this base before, right? I told you this is a version of a base we always see. This one's weaker. In general, the queen needs to carve out a path. What do I mean? I mean that on a ring base like this, we need to take out a big chunk so that we know exactly which way the dragons are going to go. Then ideally, we're going to use our king and maybe a baby dragon and our royal champion to carve out the other side of the funnel. In this case, we want to take out that air defense up north and maybe take out the CC with a poison, so that the dragons don't swing to the left. But because we're going to queen walk into this, the queen is going to take out the town hall. And so we can use our warden ability to protect our dragons early when we have them all under protection and just swing through this base. Now, with the queen walk, the things you have to watch out for are single target infernos, right? Those will roast you. And you have to watch out for the new defense, right? The scatter shot can do a lot of damage. But even here, look, I miss the poison because the queen triggered them, and all my healers are going to go down, right? So this isn't starting off well, right? So baby dragon up north with the king and the royal champion is helping with the funnel. And because the town hall went down, I can use my warden ability to keep all my dragons alive. And this time the queen is moving to the left, and it's because I dropped my dragons a little bit too slow. But again, like, there's nothing really left to stop this attack because we created a nice funnel. Like, we know exactly where our dragons are going to go. And once again, like, look how many dragons are left. I mean, this is absolutely overkill. And like I know this base is under leveled or whatever, but again, like my heroes are also under leveled, right? So when you are in war, these are the types of bases you're going to see. Okay, so there's the army. Just to be clear, we want the queen walk to stay alive throughout the whole attack. We want the queen to quad quake into the base where we know she can carve out a funnel. If she can get the town hall, that's number one. But we're also looking for the eagle, or we're looking for an inferno and an air defense and a scatter shot, somewhere where she can get a lot of value, right? And we're going to use the king to help on the other side of the funnel. I like to use the king wherever the dragons are going to go in, right? To help clear trash and to steer them back into the center of the base. And the thing I really like about this attack is the royal champion is backup. You can bring her in to help the queen if the queen is struggling. You can bring her in to help the king if you need the king to clear a funnel. You can bring her in halfway across the map to take out a loose air defense. And so, you have a lot of flexibility on what types of bases you're going to hit with this. And again, this attack it's amazing, right? It's going to get harder as air defenses catch up. But again, I don't have max heroes here. And once I do, I'm also going to have a much easier time. So, I hope you liked this video. I will post some more videos on air attacks and really maybe a couple on, how you break down a base and a couple on maybe how you build a base or how you exploit weaknesses in bases. So thanks for sticking around with me. Hope you enjoy Clash with Skip. Catch you later.